Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 11 at Remington Park on Friday. Here's the field for the $100,000 Trapeze Stakes. 2-year-old fillies going a 2-turn mile. And Mike, this is a really strong betting race. Some promising fillies in here, and one or two might be on the road to the Kentucky Oaks by way of Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly some potential in this race for sure. I felt like most of the strength of this race was sort of towards the outside, Dan. But again, the 2-year-olds, they're all, very lightly raced. So a lot of different things could happen here.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector. So important in 2-year-old races, horses stretching out, especially in a big field. Park on the Nile was just so visually impressive, winning her career debut at Churchill Downs in gate-to-wire fashion. She's expected to make the pace in here. Do you think she's going to have to go red bar fast pace? Because that'll be faster than what she had to do in her debut.
It'll be interesting to see how the pace plays out. I don't really know what's going to happen early in here, but you do have, several horses stretching out in this race, Dan. Park on the Nile, I mean, I guess the real question for her would be, I don't know if it would necessarily be how fast they go. It'll just be, what happens if she doesn't make the lead, because in her debut, as visually impressive as she was, she had no trouble making the front.
The number 1, Lily's Bidness, has a home court advantage. Let's watch her maiden victory last month, going 7/8 of a mile. $25,000 maiden claimer, not the strongest field. She was able to stay close to a solid pace. I like that she showed a little bit more early speed in this race. Still, she pulls off a $50 upset in slow time, and this is a very tough spot for the first race against Stakes Company.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was certainly a step in the right direction for her. She really improved to win that race. I don't really know what it means that they enter her back in here, Dan, because, just running that race back that we just saw is not going to get her anything.
Brody Baby, the number 2, should have plenty of bottom coming off 3 2-turn mile races at Remington, and she finally got over the hump last time out in a maiden on November the 29th. And I like the tactical speed that this Brody's Cause filly showed in this race. Let's watch Brody Baby on the outside, getting ready to pounce on the leader, and once she does, the race is all but over. She's yet to take a backward step on the Beyer scale, but you get the feeling she probably has to improve a little bit more if she wants to take these down.
She probably does, but that's what she's been doing from the start. I feel like she's run pretty well in all of her races. This is obviously just a really easy win for her. But another improvement based on her other 3 races. The horse that beat her 2-back, a really well-bred Asmussen filly. So there's no real disgrace getting beat by that horse. She improves again. She could be there.
Interesting turf to dirt move here for the 3.2 going out for trainer Don Von Hemel. Win last time out in the 2-turn debut on turf. That was a solid performance, but it's not like this is just a turf filly. The Shanghai Bobby Bay won her debut on dirt. She's stakes placed on the surface. A little bit low on figs, but I like the versatility she's shown thus far.
Me too. I thought she was interested in here at a price, Dan. She's another one. I feel like she's run pretty well in all 4 of her starts. I know the win came on turf last time, but it was also really the first time they stretched her out. And maybe that's sort of what she's been waiting for, a little bit more distance.
Roland Chrome is at the board in her last 6 starts, 1 on turf, 2 starts back. And then she fell so far behind last time, and she just didn't get out of the gate very well in the 6.5 furlong race on November the 29th. Let's watch Roland Chrome, a horse that has shown good early speed in her prior races. She fell far behind. I don't think anyone would have faulted this young 2-year-old if she just packed it in, but instead, the California Chrome filly comes with a strong run. Now, she did have pace to run at, but she does get up for second, and I would expect her to show a little bit more of that prior early speed in this spot as she stretches out.
I think she will too. You'll probably see her revert to showing more speed in this race. She ran fine in there, considering the trouble that she had early and how far away she was. Just to be second, that was fine. So I'm not going to hold the slow fig against her. The last time she was on dirt prior to that, it was another step forward for her, another new top figure, but it was going short.
Step up in class. The 3rd place finisher from the race we just saw would come back to run second in a stake bred to life at Remington with a 55 Beyer. Ring Me Darling is 3 for 4 lifetime on the dirt. She scored last time out at Churchill Downs for a $50,000 tag. I thought it was kind of a professional performance, Mike, where she was just able to strike the front in mid-stretch and kept on going. She was claimed out of that race. Lasix On, to me, is very interesting. Not worried about the mile. She has the win going the one-turn mile last time out. It's whether she's good enough.
Yeah, it's a real big question too. She has won two of her last three starts. They're both claiming races, Dan. She was the favorite both times and pretty heavily favored both times. And obviously, it's a totally different scenario here. And as opposed to just some of the other horses we've been talking about already towards her inside, who just feel like they're sort of steadily improving through races, she just feels like she just keeps showing up and running the same race every time.
The Park on the Nile, a six sure didn't look like a 21-1 chance when she made her debut going two turns at Churchill Downs. She blasted right to the front under Corey Lannery. She extended to win by 7. She earned a respectable 66 Buyer speed figure. Julian Leparoux takes the mount. Timeform US believes she's fast enough to make the front, and if she does, she could be very tough. I'm not sure I would take 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how they bet the race. I'm with you. I don't know how short a price you would really want on her in this race, and it feels like she could get bet in here. But man, that was a visually impressive debut. I mean, I know she got loose on the lead, Dan, but I don't know. When I watched it, it was just like she did everything on her own. Lannery didn't ask her out of the gate; she just made the lead. She was well in hand throughout that race, and once they turned into the stretch, she just opened up on that field. And it just felt like she was never asked to really run in there. This filly could be pretty good.
Let's watch the Oklahoma bred, the 7, Hits Pricey Legacy's victory against fellow state breds in the slideshow. This is her first race going 2 turns at a mile, and she wins this race in solid fashion. She was able to stay close to a moderate pace, but despite stretching out, she wasn't pulling, she wasn't eager, she relaxed very well. She did what she had to do, and she earned a figure, Mike, that kind of puts her in the mix here.
Yeah, I like this win from her. I thought she ran really well in this race. Clearly the best race she's ever run. The first time they stretched her out, Morning Twilight, the horse who was second to her, she just blew that horse's doors off. That horse is back in here as well. I would never take Morning Twilight over this horse. And we'll see how they bet it, I guess. Maybe this horse will be around that 8-1, which seems like a very good price.
Holy Justice is an Indiana bred who was the beaten favorite last time out, but maybe she just didn't appreciate the sloppy conditions the first time she caught a wet track. Now, 2 starts back was the first and only time that she went 2 turns. She was a winner. She also got a pretty decent trip on a mild pace and just held on. She needs a Buyer boost.
Yeah, I mean, she won 3 races in a row before that last one where she caught slop. If you want to, give her the big excuse, you can give her the big excuse. She's too slow to win this race, Dan, but she's already won routing. She doesn't need the lead to be effective. I guess there are some things to like.
The 9 Golden Sights goes out first time for Brad Cox. This is a horse that's already stakes placed, has faced some strong maidens, and finally got it done last time out at Keeneland. She caught a wet track, and she was ridden very well by Chris Landeros, who took no prisoners over this wet track. Went to the front, came off the rail, turning into the stretch, never threatened. She's earned 3 Buyer speed figures now in the 70s. She just seems like a consistent sort, and I'm not too worried about the distance.
Yeah, I'm not either. She's probably the horse to beat in here. I guess you do have to sort of concern yourself, though, that this was, over a wet track that she seemed to really like. And it was also cutting back in distance, not stretching out. Now they're going to stretch her back out here first time for Brad Cox. I have no real knocks on her. I thought she ran really well winning last time. I also felt like she could be a pretty short pricing here.
Morning Twilight goes out for our friends at West Point Thoroughbreds. This is a morning line filly that sold for $310,000, going out for Steve Asmussen, an Oklahoma bred. Won her first 2 starts sprinting very nicely. Last time out in the slideshow, that was the replay where we saw Hits Pricey Legacy win off. Morning Twilight was being pressured on the lead, but they weren't going very fast.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't really see the excuse for her last time. Obviously, her first 2 races were good, and she was impressive beating Hits Pricey Legacy sprinting 2 back. I didn't see her excuse last time, Dan. She sat right up on the pace. The winner of that race sat right behind her, and when they came for the stretch, she was just no match. I would rather have the other horse this time as they go the mile again, but maybe this horse will take a step forward.
The 11, Diamonds and Aces, never off the board from 4 lifetime starts, including this victory, going 5.5 furlongs at Remington on November the 11th. This was a solid pace for Diamonds and Aces, and as we see, she was able to get close. She is able to hold sway, but you just look at the Buyers, they pale in comparison to those of the major contenders. Perhaps we'll see some speed as she stretches all the way out.
Well, yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't try to go forward with her on the stretch out here. We'll just see if she can, find a way to improve, Dan. She's sort of run, she's been competitive, I would say, in all 4 of her starts. She's just too slow.
And drawing the far outside is the 12 optionality. Beautifully bred daughter of gun runner Jose Ortiz takes the mount. She's won her last two races by open lengths, including a stake at Zia. And boy, it was tough to find any kind of a replay for that Zia Princess. I got a head on. She won easily, hopped back to her left lead at the end. Tough outside post for optionality, but something tells me she could run a bit.
Yeah, me too. Her last two wins are both really impressive. Both just clear-cut, dominant wins with improved buyer speed figure. She has a bad post here as they stretch out for the first time. That sort of sent me looking for other horses, but I won't be surprised when she's very tough in this race.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Trapeze Stakes. Park on the Nile. Mike's going to go right back to her because, again, she did everything you want to see a first-time starter do, especially going 2 turns in the debut. She did it all on her own, and she earned a figure.
Yeah, I just liked everything about that race. And again, I feel like the trip could be a lot more difficult for her this time. I just wonder if she's not pretty good, though. She was very visually impressive.
That's what concerns me a little bit, that maybe the pace will be faster. Maybe she won't make the lead. She has to ship for her second start, and she could be a short price. Golden Sights, I agree with you. I think she might be the horse to beat, but I have the same concerns I have that you do. The muddy track win in her most recent start. So I'm looking for a price. A horse that likes to win races, Ring Me Darling. Maybe the Magic L. Lasix on for the first time can get her over the top from mid-pack range. 6-9-7-3 for Mike, 5-9-12-7 for me. It's the Trapeze on Springboard Mile Friday at Remington. Good luck.